This is your daily market review for Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well.
This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your daily market review for Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. Another Fed day comes and goes. A lot of people trying to figure out what happened, and I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it nicely. I'm not surprised by what happened. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Now, a lot of people are trying to hinge on to what he specifically said, or rate hikes, rate cuts. I think it doesn't matter. If you're watching the intraday action, as we talked about, IWM, financials, a lot of things that should have been up today were severely lagging. The market has funneled into what was perceived strength in tech, which I think is a fugazi over time, but that's what the market does, right? It doesn't go down in a straight line. When it does go up, it doesn't go in a straight line. Again, either way, if you got stopped out, held your discipline, whatever you needed to do, today was clearly an important day. Range-wise, we'll talk about all the levels, and we'll talk about the traps. So dig in, get a cup of coffee. This is not going to be a short video because I think we need to talk about everything, and you need to look at some of the bigger term charts because I think a lot of people got their heads in their tuchuses looking at the daily or the intraday charts, not looking about the big charts. Again, everyone gets so tight the near term. Again, if you're looking to join the Discord room, link is in the description below. Hit me up on Twitter if you have any questions as well. Drop in knowledge. Didn't drop a ton of knowledge today. Unfortunately, one of my tenants' cars got broken into and needed help. So that's what you do as a good landlord. Right down the street, couldn't do it. I couldn't do anything other than just do what I could to help him out. He's actually a friend, so I consider him my friend. So at that point, there really wasn't a lot to say. Again, I try to keep people updated in the Discord room. Problem now is that Twitter is not sharing charts nor messages on other platforms, their new software. So it's been kind of frustrating trying to share things. So it's all good. It's all good. Anyway, if you're newer to trading, hopefully you watch these videos back to basics. Here is your link, right? What is the link? Well, the link is hopefully the Back to Basics trading series from beginning to end with more for newer traders, get advanced. On that note, let's get into it as well. Hopefully you had the Fed Fund tool. You saw they were going to raise a quarter point today. Anyone who doubted that, I don't know what you were sniffing. All right, Bitcoin. Let's dig into it. All right, hits massive resistance and backing off. Now, is it going to instantly implode? Tough to know. I personally think the dollar is bottoming, but does that necessarily mean Bitcoin? Tough to know. It is really tough to know, hence why I ask people ask questions about Bitcoin. You got to trade it. It's kind of like gold. I mean, as much as I love gold, I can't hold it forever. We'll talk about some of the bigger charts for those metals and whatnot, but this is a little dangerous, in my opinion. You hit this range, you back off. You better hold the 26,000 and change level. That's all I can say on that. Oil. As much as Feds want to kill oil, holding up pretty well today. And again, we talked about the mid-60s levels. You're welcome. It bounced there. Now, do I want to buy it? I think we're going to be in la-la land for a while. I'd prefer just to kind of hang out and let it do what it's going to do, be patient. NG, flatline, we talked about. This thing is just, again, I don't see nat gas taking off just yet. Now, again, geopolitical stuff will affect oil, Bitcoin, all that stuff. As of right now, based on what I know, what I see, long-term, I agree. I think they'll all be higher because of inflation and geopolitical stuff. But near term, it's tough to know. So, again, if you are familiar, or if you want to catch up with some of the live chats that we did too, watch the previous videos. We talked about how a lot of this was setting up, because now we're going to get into what I consider the meat and potatoes of what I think people need to focus on. Is the dollar. We talked about it a couple days ago when it broke below. Don't be surprised if it tests the trend line, 50-day. You got down there, right? Okay. We'll see what happens here. Because, I mean, you could argue left shoulder, right shoulder, head, bottom. Now, I know we're below the trend line, and this is one thing that I'm just begging people to remember about FOMC days. The Thursday after has become more important. Why? It just seems like the market does what it's going to do on the day of the Fed meeting, up, down, up, down, up, down, maybe up, maybe down, who knows? And then what? The Thursday continues on. If the dollar starts catching a bid here, don't be surprised if it runs up into the end of the quarter. You're going to hear this theme on all potential trades running into the end of the quarter next week. Bonds. Holding the 50-day, as I've said, this is tough. Between the 104, 109s. As of right now, I'm not really that concerned, but I am saying watch the monthly. This is an important area in this area. This area is an important area. Yeah, dude. Watch this. Again, monthly hunting. I'm going to be scrolling monthlies in and out constantly in this because that's what I care about. It's a big power. The VIXer. Wow. All right. Call me, impressed. Did I think the VIX would go from 29 on Monday down to 20? No. That was not on my bingo card of chicanery that could happen. Now, again, has the market bottomed? If you ask me that question and you don't know, you don't know. This is this bear market. The VIX got into 37s. Is there any way we get out of this without getting a VIX touch of at least 48s? Up into, in my opinion, there's no such thing as a soft landing. It's just a matter of when. People are like, oh, you're bearish, you're bullish. Now, I've gotten back and forth. Again, watch both. Watch the previous, up and down. Again, I talk bear markets or traders markets. At this point, it makes more sense to be bearish because financials are leading down. Financials lead. Bank, credits, all that stuff. It's more important. Very important. SPY. Oh, this is not a bullish candle. I don't have to tell people this. Hopefully, they realize this. This is called an outside reversal engulfing bar. Bearish. Now, does it have to flop tomorrow? You would hope so if you were a bear. And if not, who cares? But remember what we talked about on the monthly. How many times did I say in last time, well, watch what happens when we get in the zone. Do you think we're going to close above it? Well, look at today's action, right? It absolutely tried to break over the range highs and then buy the rumor, sell the damn news. That's what happened. And not sell Dan's news, sell the news. QQQ. Same thing. Retest the recent highs. Oh, everybody's bullish. That is an outside. Again, outside meaning it makes a new high and then reverses and engulfs the previous day's candle. That's typically bearish. Now, again, everyone will say, technicals aren't a science and it is an art. Well, of course, I agree. But is that the retest? Because when I look at the IWM, I go, oh, Nelly. Oh, Nelly. Like Keith Jackson, college football. And we talked about it, lagging all day. SPY up here, Q's up here, IWM down here. Problem. Watch for lagging. Watch for lagging. That's why that's in there. And what do we do? Close back at the range lows. Yeah, it doesn't look good. Dia. Good old Dia. 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 What had happened? We talked about the December lows. It needs to get back over December lows. Tried real hard and fought so hard. Whatever that LinkedIn song. In the end, does it really matter? Well, no, it didn't. Kapow. That is just ugly, man. And again, this is technical damage. Does it have to die tomorrow? I don't know. But let's talk about the rest of things. Gold. Now, if you're long gold, congratulations. As I've said, I think there's easier trades. We'll see what happens here. Today's action, be careful. Be careful with gold because if it does not continue on the breakout, I could see it getting punished. Personally, I just have a little bit of those dust calls that I'm genuinely hoping work out, but again, as someone who has tons of physical, I'm not complaining. It's kind of like the people who don't trade Bitcoin. Like when it's down, it's up, they don't care, right? They prefer it up, even though, they might have some hedges against it at times, right? Silver, okay, that helps out. Just needs to stay over 21. That's all I would say. I don't really want to spend too much time on this stuff. Miners, as we talked about, lagging. Is that another lower high and fill the gap? That's scary. Scary. And if you don't know, miners get crushed when the markets get crushed, potentially. Again, double retest, whatever. Double secret probation. No, I'm just kidding. If you know that reference from Animal House. But we'll see what happens here. That wick says a lot, but again, the most important thing would probably be the 100-day. That's how I look at it. Confirm. AG, as we said yesterday, I like that they're not going to be producing anymore. They're moving their guidance. Maybe at some point. Interesting getting down here. Again, I like miners long-term at the base, but I think right now, would you give me a choice, short tech or long miners? I'm shorting tech all day, Sunday, every day that ends in DAY with layers and trying to define my risk. Now going long miners, we'll see what happens here. 50-day bounce up. Again, I've seen this multiple times where all of a sudden I thought the miners were going to go to the moon because of geopolitical stuff, and then the market tanks and then kapow. I don't want you guys to get stuck. And if it doesn't, then again, probability-wise, I hope it works out for you. Again, I'm not a long-term bear on the metals. And again, who wins the tech war? Watch the video in November. I talked about it's going to be materials. And I said in that video, it's going to be volatile. And you might need 12 to 18 months to shake out the weak hands. Nuance. No love today. Pass. Pops. Goes the weasel. Again, retest the trend line. Let's talk about them. Your favorite semiconductors. Look at these wicks. Holy gaboli. Is that a word? Holy cannoli? Why? How? Again, I don't know. Pumping. That does not look good. That looks like an arrow pointing down. Here, let me add the arrow for you if you prefer. We'll just leave this here and see how it follows through, but this looks like a candle that says, I know which way I'm going next. NVIDIA. Wow. Have you traded before? Did we talk? Were you around when? Were you following the channel? We talked about how Tesla went stupid, and you just gotta know that it's close. Well, we got stupid. We got real stupid in NVIDIA. Well, here you go. Doji, big volume, blow off, front page of Barron's, pumping hard. Again, the most retail outlet out there. The biggest noose you could put around your neck if you own a stock. You'd be like, oh crap, right? See what happens. I personally, again, whether you believe in tech or not, I mean, it doesn't matter. This thing's trading like Cisco back in the 2000s. No, they're not going out of business. It's just I don't think they're going to garner the valuation that people are trying to pretend they deserve. Keep an eye on it. Because, again, at some point, I mean, it's at 275. Look at that 10-point swing to close. Chihuahua, right? Taiwan Semi was looking real hot at one point, right? Super hot. So hot right now, that Hansel. Back test over the trend line. Does it again. This candle, I'm just going to throw some arrows out there. You tell me what you think. People are like, well, what else is going on? Well, this is why we check the monthly. NVIDIA monthly is a little harder to play with, but 20 month? Anybody? Bueller? Yeah, Bueller, right? That's right. What's next? Well, it's your favorite. Well, actually, Intel. Here was another sign today. I was like, why is Intel belly popping? It has nothing in it. There's no air, no juice. Nice close. We talked about when it hits the 200-day, kapow. SMH. Talk about roller coaster of emotions. Hit the 0.69. Where's Xavier SM? I think he left the room, but whatever. He was, and again, remember, people, I have memories. I have very good memories of the things that you say if I pay attention to what you're saying and we have a conversation. You said months ago 260. Well, you damn got it today, my friend. You get MVP of the day because you called that months ago and it got there. But man, if that wasn't just a kapow, well, game over. Trap, look above and fail. Volume, not as convincing maybe as you want, but here we go. Why don't you pull in the monthly? Yes, let's do that, Dan. Here you go. You think it's going to break that range? I don't. I absolutely don't. I think by the end of the month, you'll see yourself in the 240s. Well, how about Adobe, right? That one's been acting real strong, Dan. You've been talking about watch out for, oh God. Outside reversal candle. Yikes. Apple. Man, that was looking real strong today, right? Back. Let's call this just the next candle of death. Trapped bull zone. Look above it. And what do? We should fail. Now people go again, well, what do you think, Dan? When you ask these questions, look at the monthly. You think we're really going to break out of this? I personally don't. Well, let's get on to Amazon. Because again, where now people are going to go, where it's going to let it play out. If this is the start of a trap leads to lower prices, and a trap and bear trap or bull trap goes much lower. Again, we need to get this crap out. We need to get the froth out of the market. but will we get there in a day? Probably not. Amazon hits the range highs. Kaput. CRM tries to hit the 190s again. Rejection. Guggenheim 107.50. You got to be kidding me. Oh, that candle doesn't look bullish. As I sip on a Monster Energy drink. This afternoon's recording sponsored by Monster Energy. Are you feeling like a monster? Have some energy. I don't know. It's definitely not sponsored by Meta. Wow. Talk about endless upgrades and stupidity. That looks like another retest and a long wick. Let's go to the videotape. Again, we'll save these for later. We'll see if those end up being the tops. People, again, stocks that and this is what's easier. Stocks at monthly references are easier to short. Yeah. That's right. I think someone said 250. Good luck. Not coming. Scott, that 250 target of yours, I don't think it's going to get there. But could be wrong. Sorry. Microsoft. Yeah. That is not pretty. Again, let's remember these days, these candles. A lower high retest with that wick. That wick is, I guess, wicked. Not looking so hot. NDAQ. This thing should be up, right? No. Man, can you get the 20-day? We talked about why nobody's going to buy tech for the long term because that's just how cycles work. They're going to go into deep value and they're going to buy commodities. They're going to buy materials, industrials. This exchange is showing you the death of the NASDAQ has already happened. It's already started. Where you been, dog? Can I say that? I don't think I'm that young. Nah. No, you can't say that. MicroStrategy. Holy reversal. Right? Look at that. Gets up to the range. Netflix. We talked about this one lagging. Can't even get anywhere. Roblox. Tries to get over the 45. Rejected. Now again, people look at the overall market and they see a few names leading. They go, well, everything must be good. And it's like, well, did you dig in deeper? Because again, we go through tech, but look when we go through all this other stuff, it doesn't look so hot right now. Hansel, not so hot right now. Tesla hits the box. Said you're going to need probably another day or two to know this is real. Oops. Big red. Again, a lot of energy today. Because again, I think people, you had to have in the back of your mind, even last week, it's like, could the market hold up in the Feds? I'm excited because, again, yeah, some of my options, not worried. Yeah, goodbye. But hence 10% of my overall account is that. But man, I added on margin the last couple of days some names that I think are going to pay big. Got in. Pretty good prices today. Waited. Because again, I don't know if people notice on the Discord room. It's Monday, yesterday, Monday, Tuesday, like, be careful. If we hold up, I mean, even some of our greatest friends in there said the same thing, be careful. Ten cuidado. You never know. Again, that's the problem here. It's a probability-based game. If you're looking for certainty, go learn to paint. Or go do something where you can't, A equals B. This is not that game. All right, let's get into materials. Letter X. Man, that was looking real good earlier today. And Gulf's down. Remember, talking about materials have been down. Why is the market not following? Exactly. Nucor. Popped as you thought. Oversold. 100-day. And Gulf's down. Fills the gap. Not looking so hot. Caterpillar. Turns into a butterfly. Nope. Fills the gap. Eats all those gains. VALE. How about this? Nope. Arrow. Holding up well. Copper, right? Copper holding up better. Watch the 20-day. Is that another lower high? Fail. Rejection of the range. 10 cuidado. CCJ. Somebody said they were going long as a hedge. I can't remember. Well, that long lasted about, again, these lasted a couple days. Here we go. Looks like we're probably back down. Again, all these commodity stocks, if you bury your head and talk to me in probably 12 to 18 months, you'll probably tell me I was an idiot to tell you that it was going lower. But yeah. I mean, I think you're going to have plenty of opportunity. Look at good old CF. Yes. Come on down. Popped a little bit. Come on. I would love to see this in the 60s. Mosaic, come on down. I'd love to see you in the mid-30s. All these little pops, flops, NTR, chopping here. And just, again, all these names, they're not lead. Like, the market's not that healthy. You don't have any leadership other than a few tech names. Yikes. AA. Same thing. Excuse my sounds. XLF said this today. I mean, I said this actually a couple days ago. Don't be surprised if it pops oversold. And then people were like, is this a professional gap? Well, watch what happens during the Fed meeting. Did anyone watch XLF like I did today? Probably not. No, actually, I'm going to disagree because I think a lot of people actually were watching it. Look what you saw today. What's going on with the monthly, right? What did we say? Be careful if we break this 30 level. Look out below. Not looking so hot, right? Hansel, not looking so hot, my friend. Well, filling the gap here. I know the volume's a little lighter today, but I'm not surprised that, again, the volume didn't. If you go look at there was really no volume until 2 o'clock. Keep that in mind. A lot of these charts, if you're like, oh, the volume was lower, certain ones were lower. Keep in mind, I mean, nobody was really doing schnit until when? After the Fed spoke. JP Morgan. Yeah, real good. We talked about that doji yesterday at some resistance. Turn and burn. Morgan Stanley. Awesome sauce. You guys are great. Upgrading for your clients at the highs. Fills the gap. Engulfs going lower. Goldman Sachs. Again, I think they'll survive all this, but yeah, I mean, dead cat bounces. These are, I mean, keep in mind, you have all the reason in the world for the financials to bounce, and they're barely bouncing. That's got to be, a little nerve-wracking. XBI, may have forgotten this one yesterday. Oh, God. Taking out the lows. Things that aren't bullish, right? You haven't heard that. I mean, this is what's so hard in the bifurcating of the market. It diversifies, certain things are in lead, and then at the end it like funnels, like everybody's piling into like 5 names or one sector, and then it's like there's no leadership, right? We talked about that. Could be dangerous. Remember the IYT? We talked about IYT. I hit the 200-day. I don't know what that's from, like that old commercial. That's not good. Again, IYT should be flying if the economy is holding up. Look at all this big red up here. Somebody is in the distro mode. No, it's not huge, but somebody's not liking the action in the markets and the economy. The recession coming? I've heard there might be one. We'll see. TAN got cooked today, right? 2-day range. Watch. God, man, I got so close to the 20-day. ENPH, 211. 20-day. All right, keep an eye on it. Sedge, man, I think got up to 300 again. Wow, look at that dead cat bounce. A little higher high. Keep an eye on it. First Solar, man, 211.51. Back test that trend line again. Doink. We'll see. I mean, again, I think, and this is my opinion, whether it's right or wrong, I think solar is absolutely going to get destroyed here because government subsidies will probably be hard to maintain if there is credit issues. And also, too, if oil gas come down, which they have, who needs green? And then who ultimately, when they're pulling money out of their banks, they're worried about their livelihood, worried about unemployment rising, worried about inflation. Are they strapping solar onto their house? Again, I'm not a macroeconomist, usually don't go with fundamentals, but that thesis to me just seems very likely based on some of the action in the stocks. All right, let's run through oil. Good old greasy oil. Bounce. Okay, we'll see if it lasts. UNG, as we said, lay off this thing. XOP, man, nice move back up to the 124s again. Again, the economy's so strong. Why are oil and gas not looking so hot? I'd love for these names to come down. I mean, mid-90s, maybe in the 80s, that'd be sick, right? No one wants to hear it. ExxonMobil, another leading indicator of something was not correct. We break out on the monthly, and then we come right back. Then we bounce. Fills the gap. No buyers. That's interesting. Very technical. Very simply technical. Occidental. Oh, God. Again, some of these I'm looking at the first time. Whoop. Buffett's like, yeah, I'll buy more stock and I'll sell more calls, you stupid idiots. That's what he's telling all the people following him. PXD. $5 down. Uh-oh. Railroad tracks. You better hope it's a green one. EQT. Again, we love bagging on these guys. At some point, this will probably be deep value. Somewhere probably down in this 22s. Laying off of it for now. We'll end it with Flex LNG and a little rant. Little story. Nice pounce. Again, I saw this thing up $1, I think, at one point today or whatever. It rallied back, and then it flopped. I think this is a good name when we start exporting natty gas. All right, if you have any questions, please reach out. If you've been blown out of your account, you trade all options, and you've really hit the skids, in this movement, now you've learned how powerful options are and why I say limit 10% of your account to options at max. Keep them in a separate account so you don't try to get greedy. But also be aware, options can go to zero. And if you did have puts and you had out in time and you traded around them and you got burned and you try to get back into them, I get it. I absolutely get it. It hurts. Trust me, my options account, I think, man, again, this is why we pull money out of options account. And I've said this over time. Like, pull the money out. Do not grow a monster options account. Please, for the love of God, take that money out, move it elsewhere. Yeah, options account at some point, probably down 50% at one point today off the highs. It sucks. But that's fine. I mean, my stock account, again, hit or take, miss, hit, here and there, down some. Not as bad. But in the last couple days, went to margin, and I felt it was the right thing to do, again, because I can define my risk. But here's the thing that you got to always keep in mind is, like, if you're waiting for me to give you the signal, I don't determine the signals. That's the problem here. It happens after the fact. It's very easy to see now that the market was waiting for what? The Feds. I wish I knew that 10 days ago. That's the problem here. And so if you just had NVIDIA and you just let it ride up your ass, hopefully you'll make it back quick, because we know this thing can move fast. And here's the thing, like, you got to define your risk. And a lot of people go, why did you want to short the leaders? Well, wasn't the XLF the leader for a while there? Do you guys remember? They were leading, right? They were making sweet new highs in February. Was NVIDIA? No, not really. Not relative this high. No. Anyway, point being is that what do we know about trends, though? Like, what do we know about these stocks is that when they flip, they flip. And that's what's so hard about picking tops and bottoms. People say, well, now can you wait? Well, ideally, today is now the signal if you wanted to go bigger. And this is where layering in, because if you go all in at the initial open of a trade, your losses are going to be bigger and they're going to be harder to take. So if you get stung a few times with smaller trades, it doesn't hurt as bad. And that helps you then adjust maybe your ops, especially if you're an option trader. You can adjust and you go, all right, well, I want to swing and I got Mays. And my May, say you had May 255 puts, they're in pain, right? Especially today when it gets up to 275. Well, hopefully they come back quicker. But here's the thing, if you only bought 1, 2, or 3, and then you go, okay, well, I think today is the top, and then you want to come back to it even tomorrow on a bounce or whatever you think, now you can blast it harder on what, again, not really margin with options, but just, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's easier to really confirm it and go bang, bang, bang. That's why we always say save some cash, because this kind of shit happens, excuse my language, all the time. This type of shit happens all the time, if you know what I'm talking about, especially when it comes to hip-hop. Again, that's what's so hard. Your goal is to survive. It's not to be omnipotent and try to always be right. And a lot of people go, well, how could you stay bearish? And it's like, well, nothing changed. Nothing changed. If anything, it's getting worse, right? Credit Suisse gone. Now going to be a part of UBS. Again, commercial mortgages going to struggle with higher rates. Nobody wants debt under 3%. I was even reading about the mortgage-backed securities. Like, who wants to buy mortgage-backed securities that are yielding significantly less than inflation? And then this morning, England's inflation comes out 10%. Their CPI is still 10%. Is ours going to come down? Again, services related, food costs related. Now I know they're saying rent is coming down. I am not seeing it. Again, because unemployment needs to rise. Like, we're in this weird dichotomy of, not even dichotomy, it's the news is trying to promote everything is great, and the market's like, no, it's not. So who are you going to trust? Ultimately the market. And again, the market tried to trick people, as it always does. That's why it was like very obvious that any rise in the market didn't feel very sustained. So I hope people survive. Hope people are doing well. Again, I understand this is hard. And if you're mad at yourself, you're mad at me, you're mad at the market. Again, as my coaches always told me, don't wish trading was easier. Wish you were better. Wish you were a better trader. Wish you had better discipline. Wish and try to create your own disciplines so that you can sustain. Because again, there's going to be times, I mean, as people know, we're usually right. 8 out of 10 times, we're usually right over the swings, just time-wise. And what price? That's what's hard. It's what happens when you're wrong and when you're early. What are you going to do? Because if you do it wrong, you're going to have problems. And that's the thing. It's like, pretend your account is what? It's literally like a stock. Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Like, that's what you're looking for. And if you think that you're ultimately going to always win every single time, you're not going to get there. You're never going to get there. I'm sorry. Nobody is perfect. Hope this helps. Please be safe. Talk to you guys and gals later. Love you guys. Please be safe.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.